Hey, Jerry. Hey, Jamie. How are you guys?
Hey, Lauren, how you doing?
How are you?
Good. Happy Tuesday evening. We are going live tonight on YouTube and Facebook for everyone who is joining us. Make sure to leave a comment, introduce yourself, let us know where you're tuning in from, and let us know if you have any questions or topics you want us to discuss tonight. We'll be going through a few different things. I'll be touching on my recent July trip. I stayed at the Polynesian. Jerry and Jamie will be touching on some old Key West buybacks, right of first refusal, and we'll be answering any questions that we get live. So we are happy to have you here.
Yeah, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It sounded like the Haunted Mansion, or
Yes.
welcome to the Haunted Mansion. It's not that haunted. We'll make it nice. It won't be scary. That's not till
Exactly.
October.
But on Disney's terms, Halloween starts August
August, yeah.
11th.
Crazy.
So it is pumpkin spice season down in Orlando, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And like you go to the grocery store, we got pumpkin beers on the shelves now. I'm like, okay, I guess we're in full swing. Costco's got all the Halloween decorations out, so it is go time for Halloween.
I was actually at CVS up in New Jersey, and there was fall decor in the seasonal section, so I wasn't too surprised to see that. And I think Dunkin' has pumpkin spice out already. I don't know. Somebody corroborate that in the comments. I'm not a big Dunkin' connoisseur.
I
What
like
is your
Dunkin'.
guys'
It's
coffee?
It's too hot for fall.
Down
It's
there.
probably not too hot for you, Lauren, but yeah,
Yeah.
it does not. It feels like summer right now, so it does
Yeah,
not
it's
feel
still
like
hot.
fall.
I'm not an iced coffee drinker. I like hot coffee all year round.
Yeah, me too. Luckily, I'm sitting in air conditioning, drinking it pretty much all morning long. It's a pot of coffee, which is probably too much, but yeah, I don't like flavored coffee personally. It's not my thing. But yeah, regular black coffee gets me going.
Well, hi everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. This photo of Jerry and I, we met up in person this summer, last month, July. It's already August, end of August pretty much at this point, when I was staying at the Polynesian with family, and Jerry and I met up, and I met his lovely family. It was really nice. So I had to include our selfie in the Polynesian lobby, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really nice to meet your father. Love him.
Yes, he loved you. He loved you and your family too. It was definitely a highlight to meet up. So we have folks tuning in from Virginia. Hey there.
Hello.
Hi.
Marty, thanks for joining us. And if anybody's watching this replay, let's say you're not watching it live, you can still leave comments for us with any questions. We will definitely get to them. So if you're watching the replay, leave a comment as well to introduce yourself and say hi. But if you're tuning in live, drop your comments. Oh, this was my dad's comment. Good energy, Jerry.
Oh, nice.
I like your capitalization there. I'm not sure. You got your capital.
Yeah, it was great to meet Dante, your dad. Just that I thought it was gonna be a 5-minute hello. It turned into an hour, give or take, maybe more. So it was really nice to meet you guys.
Yes. And to keep the conversation going here on our live broadcasts, thanks to everyone who's tuning in. It looks like we have about 20 people across YouTube and Facebook. So if you're interested in this type of content, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We post different room tours and other content that might be helpful to you when you visit Walt Disney World. We recently posted a shorts series on YouTube breaking down all things Wilderness Lodge, so be sure to check that out. And if you're watching on Facebook, be sure to like our Facebook page. Just lets us know that you're enjoying this type of content and that we can keep showing up and making it for you.
That's right.
Right. So we did get a question on YouTube already. Someone dropped it for us this afternoon. So I want to pull this one up to the screen, and we can answer this one here first to kick things off. Do you think Disney would consider an annual pass for resale members? I suppose they're asking, besides the Incredi Pass. If your stay is less than 2 weeks, there's no value, and they only sell up to a 10-day pass. Okay. If longer, start at 1 again. I'm not sure I grasped the last part of that question, but Jerry or Jamie, do you guys want to grab this one?
Yeah, well, I think let's see what Jamie has to say, and then I'll add to it or agree with you. What do you got, Jamie?
I mean, I think that's, one of those unknowns. It's a question that's kind of like, will they offer an extension, to 2042? It's an unknown. I mean, we know the fact that we know right now is no. I mean, you have to have the membership card from buying direct in order to get those opportunities like the annual pass. So the easy answer is I'm factual. Right now, no. Could it happen in the future? I mean, anything is possible. But I think if Disney wants to retain the difference between resale and direct, probably not.
Yeah. So you mentioned member card. If you buy direct, they give you a digital card now. It used to be a blue card. They call them blue card members, but technically it's a digital card. And in that card, it says DVC-Y if you bought direct and DVC-N if you buy resale. The Y stands for yes. And that yes is to incidental benefits, member perks, privileges. So the cast members, when you go to buy an annual pass, will say, oh, let me see your DVC membership card. And if you show it and it has the Y, they'll give you the Florida resident discount or the sorcerer pass versus having to buy the Incredi pass. But my thoughts, if Disney's suffering, if they're having problems, if their attendance is down, like anything could change. The member perks and incidental benefits are just something to entice people to buy directly from Disney. But if those sales slow down or their park attendance slows down, they're going to do whatever they can do to get people back into those parks. So yes, I do think it could potentially change. But at this point, it's not looking like it's going to change anytime soon because attendance is bonkers. I mean, it's busy at the park. So at this point, yeah, I think you have to buy the Incredi pass resale, and you can, obviously if direct, you can buy the sorcerer pass. So yeah, that's my take. Lauren?
All right. I know maybe we jumped into that first question quickly, but this person left it on YouTube at 3:45. I appreciate their readiness to get their question answered, so I wanted to make sure. I'm not sure if they're watching live right now, but I hope that answered your question. And if you have any follow-up thoughts, be sure to leave them for us. Yeah, I know there's a lot of information out there, a breakdown about what point does an annual pass break even, how many visits do you need to go on. So it's definitely a great question, and I'm sure you're not the only member who's curious about that.
And
I wasn't going to deep dive into that. I wasn't going to deep dive into that because it wasn't part of the question. But I think a lot of times, and Jerry, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think a lot of times when I'm talking to somebody about the benefits, you have to think that the percentage off or the amount off is pretty minimal. When you're buying resale, most people are buying resale for one of two reasons: for savings or to buy at a sold out resort. So if you're buying for savings, paying, potentially 50% more to get a couple $100s off an annual pass, if you really do the math, for most people, it's not going to make sense. So
yeah, I mean, it's typically resale packages are about $100 less per point than a direct purchase price per point. So if you put that into an equation, 200 points, $100 off, that's $20,000 difference between a direct to resale purchase. I mean, that's a lot of annual. That's your lifetime of annual passes. I mean, depending on how many people you're buying for in your family, but for the most part, yeah, the savings for resale outweighs, I think, the savings for an annual pass.
Yeah. And to clarify, when I was saying about the break-even point, it was more so if I buy an annual pass for XYZ, how many days do I need to enter the park for it actually to be worthwhile to even buy the pass? But yeah.
There are some perks to buying the annual pass, even if it's the Incredi pass. I mean, again, Disney offers certain member perks to annual pass holders. So you can get 20% off, sometimes 30% off. They've run before. They have like a annual pass lounge, which, DVC members, we have a lounge, but so does annual pass. Sometimes they pop up these lounges. So there are some benefits to buying the annual pass. And then, again, getting certain discounts that you might not get if you have the resale package. It might fulfill some of that FOMO, like a fear of missing out of, I'm not getting certain discounts because I bought resale. Well, if you buy the annual pass, you would get some of those discounts. So there's pros and cons. You can juggle it and see what works best for you. But yeah, either way, this comes down to that financial choice. Is it worth it or not? And you have to decide.
Yeah. Well, for everyone who's just joining us, to just quickly reset the room, my name is Lauren. I'm joined by Jamie and Jerry here with the DVC store. We are doing our live broadcast tonight to talk about a few different things. I'll be recapping my recent trip at the Polynesian. Jerry and Jamie will touch on a few pieces of DVC news. We'll also touch on a little bit of the D23 Expo news and announcements. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave it for us in the comments. Introduce yourself. We're really happy to have you here. So what do you guys think? Should we hop into our first topic?
Yes. I want to hear all about your trip.
Yes. Well, let me pull this back up to the stage. First, I'm going to talk a bit about the D23 Expo updates. Now, I know this has been discussed, what seems like ad nauseum in the Disney community. So I'm not going to get too in depth here, but I'm curious to know what everyone's thoughts are. Not only about the updates, but how it was delivered. I mean, the expo looked like a concert. I wasn't there. I was reporting live in our Facebook group. I broke everything down in a thread. I'll leave a comment with a link to our Facebook group. If you're not a member, you can join and you can see everything that I broke down there. But just to quickly touch on what will be coming to Magic Kingdom. This stuff isn't happening tomorrow, next month, the month after that. But we did get some form of a timeline when it comes to these updates. The biggest that I will share first that I feel so many Disney fans were waiting for was something villains themed. They announced a villains themed land coming behind Big Thunder Mountain. This was like the behind Big Thunder Mountain project that was like totally under wraps. I didn't even include the concept art because in my opinion, it is such a hodgepodge. You can't even make out. It's just villainous vibes. You can see the photo in our Facebook group. It's right from the Disney Parks blog. And I'm sure if you're a Disney fan, you've likely seen it already. I did include a glimpse of their concept art for a Cars attraction. There will be two. I included the concept art for the Pirates of the Caribbean lounge coming to the Magic Kingdom, and the new nighttime show, which honestly I'm so excited for this. And this was the most concrete piece of concept art in my opinion. If that is at all possible, it's kind of an oxymoron. Concept art, concrete doesn't go hand in hand. But Jerry, Jamie, what are your thoughts on finally getting a new nighttime show?
I think it's great. I mean, again, the fact that they're missing that is it's been missed and it needs to come back. So I think that's a fantastic announcement. And I think it just adds to the magic of the Magic Kingdom. So I think that was a wise move for them to bring it back. The Pirates Bar to me sounds very enticing. I mean, they have the Jungle Cruise, what is it called? The Cantina. I can't remember the name, but the Jungle Cruise like bar restaurant. But I wonder what this Pirates of the Caribbean themed, is it going to be more of a bar or restaurant or lounge? Like what is the real theme behind it? Magic Kingdom, you really can't get any alcohol, and not that you have to, but the fact is this going to be like a full bar? Is this going to offer, more just, light bites and, soda? Like what is the idea that they have behind it? I know the theming is going to be amazing, but that to me looks really appealing. And then Cars Land, very controversial. I think, because it's taking over Tom Sawyer's Island, but nonetheless, I don't think Disney's going to put something in that people will hate. I think it's really going to attract people once it's in. Again, very controversial because people love, the nostalgia of the Magic Kingdom and that pleasant, the what is it? The Lily Empress? Is that the fairy? Is
well,
it
the Empress Lily was
Empress Lily,
no, the Empress Lily's
was Fulton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Empress Lily is Fulton.
Lily Bell.
Yeah. Okay. So just the fact that that's going to be gone it seems strange. Like it seems like it's just such part of a staple of that park, and it gives it really an aesthetic beauty. But I also think they need to. Not too many people go to that area. It's kind of a quiet area, so I think maybe making something out of it is not a bad move. So again, controversial, but I'm all for it. I think it's a good idea. So those are my thoughts. I think Disney's made some good announcements, and those three in particular are some solid updates.
Well, I think it was, out of the park.
At the Pirates Bar, there has to be rum.
Right, yeah, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. I think it was, it was out of the park. It wasn't one good announcement. It wasn't one decent thing. It was just hit after hit after hit. And so I think they're listening. Um, and I think that, everything seems very exciting to me. And I haven't felt that way about announcements in a long time. I feel like it was always just one major thing and a bunch of small things that really didn't get me that excited about the expo. But this year I feel like it was just night and day. Like they brought it, and and people are super excited, and I feel like that's the energy that they need to get back to. Yes, there's nostalgia. There's always going to be people that don't want to see things go. But there's also an opportunity to build new nostalgia. So I think that they know what people want to see, and this is the Disney that most of us grew up with.
Yeah. I was thinking about the Villains Land, and again, my son, my daughter's 9 years old, 4 years old. I think they might be scared, and it's an interesting move for Disney. The adult fans of Disney have always wanted the villains, and I think it's a great idea. But I'm just curious how they'll do it, and make it not terrifying for children. Because some of those villains can be pretty scary. I mean, you watch those movies and you're like, that's got an interesting character there. So the point is, that Villains Land, I think, people have been screaming for that forever. But the fact that they're going to do it, it's interesting. I can't wait to see how it actually comes out.
Well, I think where they're putting it is also going to give an opportunity that if you don't want to go back there, you don't want your children to walk through that as they're going to ride the teacups or go to Little Mermaid. You have to purposely be going back there. So I feel like they're finally recognizing that there's a lot of, say, childless adults, myself included, that love Disney and want that. I remember I'm talking years and years ago, they did a special event at Hollywood that was a Villains Night, and I was there for it. And they ended up taking all the characters in and basically kind of stopping it because it got so crazy and so overwhelming. People were just lining up and trying to get next to the characters, take pictures. So I think, I agree with you, Jerry. I think that it's a different spin for them, but I also think they realize part of their market, and they're putting it in a location where you don't necessarily have to see it if you don't want to.
Yeah, I do think Disney will do it in a very tasteful way, and having some it looks like there's going to be a roller coaster in there, so I think it will be fun for all. But I did think it was an interesting announcement that's finally come to fruition. Well, it hasn't come to fruition yet, but at least the announcement's there. Awesome. Do you guys remember the old Stitch encounter that was at?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Tomorrowland
that took over Alien. Over the Alien encounter. Yes. Mm-hmm.
To me, I was beyond. I knew Tom Sawyer. I knew Tom Sawyer's days were numbered. Okay, I was there last month, and I was with my dad. I was with my boyfriend. I was with family, and I was looking at them. I go, it's 12:30. The sun is blazing in the Magic Kingdom. I'm like, we just did Tiana's. Not trying to jump ahead to my trip recap, but I'm looking at them. I'm like, we should really do Tom Sawyer. I knew his days were numbered, and we didn't end up doing it. It was just so hot. We were ready to go back to the resort and decompress, but that was not a surprise to me at all. I think that Disney's PR team was very intentional in not making that announcement at the expo that, we're also killing off Tom Sawyer Island and the Rivers of America. They did that Monday morning as everyone's drinking their coffee and crying tears into their coffee cup. The Tom Sawyer Island fans. So they were very intentional, and I think they are waiting to drop any news about Monsters, Inc. I don't know what that's going to look like at Hollywood Studios, but I'm jumping ahead to the next slide.
Yeah, jump ahead. Let's see it.
Melissa said, only poor, unfortunate souls will be afraid of the Villains Land.
I love it.
She's got the dad jokes.
Nice.
Awesome. So, yeah, and, about Stitch's Great Escape, I thought that was Tomorrowland, in my opinion, is dusty. Needs some love. Stitch's Great Escape is low-hanging fruit, as well as the Buzz Lightyear attraction.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I'm surprised we didn't hear anything about that, but it feels like that's something that could happen in the shorter term. I wish. So I was shocked to hear nothing about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
Don't
when
you dare with Buzz Lightyear. That's my picture.
Oh yeah,
that
people
you
are always trying to get that high
Yeah,
score.
no, that's
Well, maybe
that's
a
my husband and I
refreshed
have to compete
version.
every year.
Yeah, I love the concept.
Yeah, I
It's fun.
mean, Toy Story has a gigantic following, and now with 5 coming out, I don't think I think there's going to stay Toy Story. I mean, I would have to think, it might get updated, but with 5 being announced, I think that would be a bad move for them to pull anything Toy Story.
Yeah.
Tomorrowland is just not feeling like tomorrow. It's feeling like
It's like yesterday land. And I remember when they refurbed
Well,
it
it's
and changed it
tomorrow,
to what it is.
20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Tron's the only thing that's relatively new and cool. I mean, granted, Space Mountain's fun. Like, there's some attractions over there that's okay. But again, not to be controversial, but I forgot what they call it, Futuron, whatever. The cars that's still running on gas, that's on the
Speedway.
track.
Oh
Yeah,
my
the Speedway
goodness.
is like, golly. I mean,
That
they're going to
too.
keep it. Yeah, I mean, if they're going to keep it, they should at least go again electric or some version of something where it's not.
The fumes aren't reminiscent for you, because every time I walk by, I get a nose full of that gasoline. I'm like, that takes me right back to being a kid.
Yeah, right. I don't exhale. I get a little high out of it. I'm like,
right, exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely stinky over there, but whatever.
That's my armchair Imagineering perspective. If someone gave me the mic, I would have planned something to refresh Tomorrowland, not to decimate it, but a little love is needed, in my opinion. So let's jump over to another chunk of the announcements. There was information regarding Test Track version 3 reopening. They said 2025. We don't know if that'll be January 1st or December 31st, but next year, Test Track version 3 will reopen. We also got information about a new lounge. Now, they did not say that this was a DVC member lounge. I believe it is just a general lounge where you can get a drink, small plates. We don't know yet, but that is the concept art in the top left. I think this is where there's like a corporate lounge event space. To me, that's where I think this is going. Jerry, Jamie, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, but that's what the concept art's telling me, because it's facing out towards where the Fountain of Nations used to be.
Yeah. So when you get off Spaceship Earth, you get kind of put into this, again, an area that needs to be updated. Some of that stuff when it first came out was kind of cool, a lot of like video.
The jumping waterfalls and stuff, you mean?
No, it's actually right when you get off the ride. It's like you see your face and how you've gone through, Spaceship Earth.
Oh, yes.
So that little area is kind of a little kids area, but I believe you're right. Above that, or at least there's a stairway or something that'll take you to, because if you look in that picture, you can see the back has a window that's, again, out looking over, the world pavilions, basically the fireworks and so forth. The Walt statue is kind of right in that area. So anyway, I think, they're going to gut that area down where that current, you exit the ride, or it's going to be a lounge that's built above that. But I don't know, that area below, or when you get off the ride, it needs a refurb. It needs something. It's pretty bad.
This is right above where the Walt statue is currently. So that's where this is, from what I've researched and gathering this concept.
And that again is where Spaceship Earth kind of exits. That whole area. Yeah.
So that's exciting. New lounge. Leave a comment if you have any thoughts on that. I'm always interested in a space that I can just relax and sit and kind of take a breather. I'm always interested in that. So that's a thumbs up from me. Over in Hollywood Studios, like we touched on a little bit already, Billy Crystal came out on stage. I was hooting and hollering. I was so happy and excited. His stage presence is just so fabulous. I mean, who else to make this announcement with Josh D'Amaro? So coming, let me see here. It says work beginning 2025. The font was a little small even for me to read. I apologize if it's hard to read. You can read this all in our Facebook group. But work beginning 2025. Again, we don't know when, but a Monsters Inc. themed land will be coming to Hollywood Studios. The first ever in a Disney park, as well as the first ever suspended coaster in a Disney park. Also announced for Hollywood Studios is a new story for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which is always welcome. I'm always down for a new adventure to go on. So, do you guys have any thoughts on those pieces of news?
I'm all for it. I think it needs it. So yeah, any upgrade, new rides or attractions, 100%. I think they knocked it out of the park with all these announcements. Again, a lot of controversy on where things going to go, but at the end of the day, they're new things that people get to enjoy and come back and enjoy. So I'm all for it.
I posted a series of Instagram stories that I pinned to a highlight on our Instagram, which is at the DVC store. And the thought I had that Monday morning after the expo was, it's really never been a better time to be a DVC member. And the thought of I'm coming back and there's going to be something different for me to enjoy, I think being a member and having a membership, of course, it's not guaranteeing you to get into the park, but to be there at Walt Disney World and be part of that fun in a park, if you choose to do so as an option, it's really never been a better time. That was my favorite.
And that is like a twofold thing, because you get to see the current, the old, if you will, and then you're going to see the evolution as it changes over. So you kind of get the best of both. You're right. You're absolutely right. It is a great time to be a DVC member.
Yeah,
and I think that.
Go ahead, Jamie. Sorry.
I think that a lot of members, especially people that have been members for 10, 15 years, the feedback I get is, well, we've done the park, so we're just enjoying the resort. And don't get me wrong, I've had plenty of resort only stays, but I think this will rejuvenate where people will say, I want to do both. I want to, take the extra trip, or I want to split stay and do a resort only, but then I want to go see these things. So I think you'll see a shift where people aren't just using the resorts on their trip. They're also going to see stuff that is new and fresh. And so yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. It's you're getting the best of both. If you buy and you just do resort stays, that's great. Again, I do that. I love it. I don't have to go to the parks, but I think this is going to rejuvenate the other side of that.
Yeah, absolutely. They needed it. They needed it with the Universal Epic Universe coming and the competitions that's coming. They need to do something, and I'm glad they're doing it.
Yeah, and like I said when we first opened up this conversation tonight, this isn't happening in the immediate near future, and I don't even want to get into the Epic Universe conversation, but that is imminent. That is imminent. So Disney, really needed to come out with something to at least generate the excitement, like you said, Jamie, and to draw the interest while it's not happening, immediately. So yeah, it's really never been a better time to be a member, to know I can come and check this out. And we have a few comments coming in. Tom, he's so excited about the announcements. Happy to be here. We're happy you're here. Thank you. Hey, Brian. My dad said if they keep doing rides like Galaxy, they are good to go.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. Like, they knocked it out of the park with, Guardians. And yeah, it's technology that people haven't seen before or experienced. So, these Imagineers are definitely going to create things that are different, exciting. And it's exciting to see this coming. I'm happy, obviously, for all these announcements.
Absolutely.
I don't ride those, but Ratatouille did it for me. So.
Well,
I don't ride anything that's like simulated. Ratatouille was a stretch for me, but I absolutely love that movie, and I wanted to go on it 5 more times. There's just so much detail and stuff. So they, again, it's exciting to see some new things. I love the old things. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of tradition with Disney, but the new things are going in the right direction.
Agreed. So to touch on Animal Kingdom, they announced the end is near with Dinosaur. Let's go get that dino one last time. If you're in the area, you're going to go to Animal Kingdom. Go hang out with Dr. Seeker one last time, because we don't know when that closure date is going to be, but it is going to be changing to an Indiana Jones attraction. And I believe there will be another Indiana Jones attraction as well in that area. I included more concept art in our Facebook group. so that you can see what their proposal is for that area. There will also be a I'm sorry, I made this font way too small even for myself. It'll be called Puebla Esperanza. So in this area, Indiana Jones will live, as well as Encanto themed attraction. So if you are a fan of Encanto, which is a newer Disney film, that will be coming for you as well. It was also confirmed that the It's Tough to Be a Bug show will be changing. RIP. No more stink bugs. Creating the Tree of Life, but we will have a Zootopia Better Together show. So, or Better get I can't even pronounce that. Better Zoogether. I don't know. That's going to be hard for me to keep saying. Better Zoogether. Doesn't sound right. So, new show in the Tree of Life. I think that was really only ever, well, there was in Hollywood Studios, the It's Tough to Be a Bug playground where you were playing as the size of a bug.
Yeah. Wasn't it Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of thing? Yeah, exactly. That was a fun one.
Yeah. So that'll be the end of It's a Bug's Life.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, this was exciting to say the least, and there are obviously more updates and news that came from the D23 Expo, including Disneyland, including the international parks. Join our Facebook group. I broke everything down there for you, but I just wanted to touch on the Walt Disney World news for our viewers here. Nicole said, I cannot wait for the Encanto attraction. Very excited. Marty, yes, dropped a little dinosaur emoji.
That dino ride is pretty awesome. I'm surprised they're letting that one go. That's a cool ride, especially a little terrifying for kids, but nonetheless, it looks pretty realistic. It's a great attraction, but upward and
upward. It's kind of a sleeper attraction. Yeah. I went on it last month, and we were barely gonna go on. We were like, all right, let's do it, and we were like, oh. The way that the car moves, I think the ride vehicle will be the same pretty much for Indiana Jones like it is in Disneyland. So I think the ride vehicle will stay the same. So if you can handle dinosaur, I think you can probably handle the new Indiana Jones ride. Yeah. I don't think it'll change too much.
Just don't let Jerry talk you into going on Pandora.
Oh, man. That's a good one.
Flight of Passage. I got fooled.
I told Jamie it was the best ride. She had to ride it. She doesn't like simulators, and I got her sick. So that's the inside scoop on that story there. Sorry, Jamie.
We have great memories. I didn't get sick on him though, so that's always good.
Well, I'm glad you lived to tell the tale. So I am gonna do a little bit of a trip recap. I have some photos from my July trip. My dad said, sorry, Jamie.
Thank you. You wouldn't trick me, would you?
No. I didn't mean to trick you. I just was like, you can't miss it. It's so good.
I know. And actually, honestly, it was so good. I have to say this so Jerry doesn't feel bad, but it was so good and so well done that when I went back with my husband, I waited in the line for 2.5 hours for him to ride it, and then I ditched and let him ride it. And so that's how amazing I thought it was. So even though I wouldn't do it again, it was I'm glad I did it, but it was Jerry's definition of it's not that bad it means everything is all relative. So
listen, Mission Space, your dad made a comment. That is a vomit comment. That thing is horrible, but everything else Disney does is okay. But Mission Space.
Yeah, no, it's not too bad.
That's the one attraction I've never done. I just don't have an interest in doing.
Nope.
But everybody's got their own limits, and
the green is fine. The orange is you're signing up for disaster. The rest of your day is no good.
Yeah, I think I'm good. So anyway, I'm going to jump into a little bit of a trip recap. If you guys have any questions about staying at the Polynesian or anything that I kind of touch on that I did with my family, leave a comment. I'm happy to answer for you. We are longtime Poly visitors. Poly's not our home resort. The boardwalk is, but we enjoyed a 7-night stay in a deluxe studio, and it was excellent. I have no complaints about the actual accommodation. The room was clean. Housekeeping was fabulous. we stayed in Tokelau. And funny enough, I sent Jerry a picture, or I did a room tour, and he goes, "Wait, I stayed in that exact same room out of the 300-400 studios on property." It was unbelievable.
350 studios in that resort, and she's doing a room tour, and I was like, I think I stayed in that same room. So then I sent her a room tour that I did. I never released the video, but I sent it to her. It's the exact same room. A month earlier, I stayed in the same room she did, which is weird.
Yeah. Wow. Well, totally ironic. So yeah, we kicked it off at the United Club, and in the top left picture, who did we see? But 50
you
Cent.
You can find me in the club. I got what
I was just about to say, that's 50 Cent, isn't it? Your dad just went up cool points like a bunch. I mean, he was cool, but he's really cool now.
He leveled up.
My boyfriend spotted him, and he goes, "I think that's 50 Cent." And he was we were in the Newark United Lounge. There's two. We were in the one in Terminal A. And I didn't, I'm drinking my complimentary mimosa. I'm like, I don't want to go bother this guy. And my dad went over and took a quick selfie, said he was very cool, he was very kind, and he had a couple security with him. So he had a little bit of a posse. So that was a fun start to the trip.
That is cool.
Yeah, it was fun. And I highly recommend the United Lounge if you ever dabble and fly United at the Newark airport. It's very nice. So we kicked things off, and I have to say, I needed a special welcome for myself and my family, and I sourced a local vendor who creates authentic lei, and she's from Hawaii, and she met us at the resort. This is in no way DVC store sponsored. I just want to share, if you are looking to do a special welcome, that's what these beautiful lei are, and I have a couple print photos. I had to do my CVS printout. So I'm going to just take you on my photo journey. This was the woman who crafted it and her daughter. You can see them holding the beautiful lei. Really makes a Polynesian visit super special. So if you have any questions about that, let me know.
And they do that at let me say, when I stayed at Alani, they greeted you at the door that way. Now that I don't know if that's still something they do, but that was part of checking into Alani. No.
They don't,
that's so nice.
Sadly, yeah. And I went in 2021 and they did it. And I'm in a couple Alani Facebook groups, and people always ask that, Jamie. And even there, I connected with a vendor because I was like, this is a must do. I have to have this. I want to, support somebody, a local vendor who's super talented. And at the Polynesian, if anyone's familiar with Auntie, who used to be in the lobby, and she would handcraft lei. It was a really beautiful thing that they would do. You couldn't buy them. It was just kind of on a pixie dust basis. So that was our welcome. We had a great time. Check-in day, we just kind of hung out at the resort, didn't do anything crazy. The next day, we went to see Mickey over at Ohana. We had a lovely time. Breakfast was fun. We went with our Ohana. And I have to point out, sometimes at the Polynesian and Grand Floridian, I've seen as well, there's randomly PhotoPass photographers. So here's my boyfriend and I hanging with our luggage cart, taking our Instacart order, and I said, "Excuse me, sir, can you take our picture?" So if you're going to do PhotoPass, he was hanging out by the pool, the PhotoPass photographer. So this is like a Sweet Life of Zach and Cody hanging with the luggage cart, if anyone was a Disney Channel. So that night, the day after we checked in, we hung out by the pool. We went to Trader Sam's. That's us with our Glow Cube drinks, of course. Have to hit up Trader Sam's, especially if you're staying at the Polynesian. And that same, before we went to Trader Sam's, not after, before we went to Trader Sam's, we did a boat rental, and that's in the bottom right. So my boyfriend captained the ship. You can rent a pontoon boat, not at the Polynesian, sadly. Their marina is just for show now. You can't rent a boat there, but you can go over to the Grand Floridian or the Contemporary, but the Grand is just more convenient. And you do get a DVC member discount, which is pretty nice. So it's a prorated basis, and you can go out on Bay Lake and Seven Seas Lagoon, and you can bring snacks, you can bring drinks. It seats, I think, up to 10 people. There's Bluetooth. You can get your music playing and, drive up to the Magic Kingdom. It's pretty awesome. Has anyone ever done a boat rental before? Jamie, Jerry, have you guys done that?
It's been a while.
I did the little ones that you used to have at Polynesian,
The
like
sprint
the
boats, the little singles.
yes, and we shared. Well, it should be for a single, yes, and they said that, but I'm not really big on boating or whatever, so we shared, and it was December, and let's just say that the boat dipped at one point and the water came over the top, and that was about the extent I was ready to go back. So it was not freezing, but it was not warm outside, and I was like, okay, this is one of those things that looks great from the dock, and then I was like, once you actually have to get in it, I was like, nah, I'm good. So I have, but never again. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, they don't even do those anymore. So that's long gone. But
Yeah.
Well, those were pretty low to the water.
Yeah,
Even if you're by yourself with somebody else, you were like in the water pretty much. The pontoon boat, you are gliding up top. You are safe. You are secure. You know, you're not gonna dip in. Hopefully,
it's very comfortable. The thing we were in was a lot of work. It was like a paddle boat or something like where it's just mostly looks fun, and then you realize it's a lot of work, and you're really literally sitting on the water. So yeah, the pontoon would be a much better idea.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about the mini boat. I didn't know you were in a paddle boat. Paddle boats are a lot of work.
No. I'm just saying, no, it was the motorized one, but I'm saying, like, you know, when you see a paddle boat or a swan boat, and you're like, oh, this is going to be so much fun. And then you get out there and realize, like, it's a lot more work, and it's a lot more fun from the shore. So, yeah, it was,
it's like the
it was an interesting, we've got a lot of good memories.
It's like the bicycles at Boardwalk. You're like, oh, this is a great idea. Let's get on those and ride around. And then all of a sudden you're like, this is not easy.
No, it's not. And I have to say, I went March 2023. I was at the Boardwalk. My boyfriend and I went, and we were going crazy. We were like wreaking havoc in the. I think he's watching right now. He can corroborate this in the comments. We're like, we're gonna break into Epcot. Not really, but if it's cool out, it's manageable. But if you do that in the summer, I can never do that in the summer. So it's all seasonal. And again, that's why it's great to be a member. You could go any time of year.
That's right.
So this was a little bit about our time at the Poly. We hung out at the pools, of course, and being able to take the monorail is just so convenient. I don't know. Can you guys see as I hold up the pictures?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
blurry.
Yeah, if you go full screen on yourself, it would really showcase. Right. But yeah, I can see it.
Well, the gist is we hopped on the monorail and didn't look back, and we had a great time at the Magic Kingdom. But we went over to Crystal Palace, which I was totally impressed with. I didn't get a picture of the food. The stuff on screen here is from Epcot, but I was so impressed with the food at Crystal Palace. I have never been there as an adult, and the character flow was fabulous. We, of course, met Piglet and Pooh and friends. Eeyore was there as well. Tigger. It was really sweet. So I recommend Crystal Palace. People always say, oh, what's the best character dining? And, of course, for newbies or newer Walt Disney World goers, everybody thinks of Chef Mickey. Of course, it's not
1900 Park Fair.
1900 Park Fair is back.
I would say the Tusker House at Animal Kingdom or Crystal Palace. Those are the two but you have to be a little adventurous at Animal Kingdom. But I do think the Tusker House and Crystal Palace by far the two best.
Yeah, I like Dan's comment. I like the food at CPAL, the abbreviation. Yeah, I will say the food at Ohana, it is not knock your socks off. Like, there's really not much variety. It is your standard eggs, bacon, ham, all that good stuff. But Crystal Palace had a lot of variety, so they get my vote of confidence. When we went to Magic Kingdom, we actually broke it up into two parts of a day. We went in the morning, not really for rope drop, but we went at like 9:30, and then we left around 12:31. And that was the moment in time where I was like, no, I can't go to Tom Sawyer Island. I am sizzling and I need the pool right now. So we broke it up. I highly recommend doing that. Went back to the Polynesian, and then we came back maybe around 5:30, 6 o'clock, because they were extended evening hours for deluxe resort guests. So if you're not familiar and you're staying at a deluxe resort, which all DVC resorts are part of, you can enjoy extended evening hours at Epcot and Magic Kingdom on select nights. So let me know in the comments, have you taken advantage of the extended evening hours? What are your thoughts? I'm curious to hear, because I miss extra magic hours, I will say. I miss when the park was open till 2 a.m. Go crazy. You're there till like 3, and it's a little different now, but it's still nice to have the extra time in the park for sure. So here on the screen, I have some Epcot photos. We had a nice affogato in the Italy Pavilion, which is espresso with gelato flavor. You get to choose. They made a little Mickey with it, with the espresso bean. It was very tasty. We went on Guardians 3 times. And
Nice.
if you have any questions on how to do that, I'm happy to break it down in another conversation. But when there are extended evening hours, you can ride it up to 3 times. It was my dad's first time on the ride, so I was like, we've got to do it as many times as possible. And it is possible. We also hung out at the Rose and Crown, and we had some fish and chips, which really is not the most appetizing photo. I don't know why I chose to include that, but I didn't take as many food photos as I normally do. And I wanted to kind of put that as a little tip. If you hang out at the bar at Rose and Crown and you're not sitting for dinner or lunch, you can just pop to the fish and chips cart and bring it to the bar, and you can eat it there if you want to just drink and snack while you're there. And other than that, we did also go to Hollywood Studios. Here's my little cousin and I. She is a Hollywood Studios fan. She loves all the Toy Story stuff, Tower of Terror. And we did also go to Animal Kingdom. Again, take advantage of PhotoPass if you're going to buy it. They are everywhere, and they want to see you smile. They want to see you take pictures. And last but not least, 10 minutes before our Uber was arriving to go back to MCO and leave, who pulls up?
Oh, nice.
And Daisy, Chip and Dale, and there might have been one other friend, but the character caravan pulled up. If you ever see that character caravan, you don't know who's going to come out, but it was literally 10 minutes before we left, and it was a nice way to close out the trip. So,
is that through the PhotoPass that you got those pictures, or is that
yes,
through?
Yep.
Nice, that's awesome.
There was a PhotoPass who came off the bus with the characters.
Oh, that's great.
And you know, it kills me, it pains me that Mickey in the Town Square Theater does not have a PhotoPass, and it is the automated photo box. It absolutely breaks my heart. I mean, there's a dozen PhotoPass on Main Street. I always submit my feedback when Disney sends a survey. I'm like, Mickey needs a PhotoPass photographer. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
All in all, it was a fabulous trip. I can do a more extensive trip report, but this was just a high-level look at some of the fun that we had.
Did you only stay at Poly, or were you at split stay?
So we were at the Polynesia for the entirety of the stay, and we were actually going to do 5 nights and then move to a 1-bedroom at Boulder Ridge, and we didn't. And I'm so glad we didn't, because I like to settle in and unpack, and the thought of having to pack up and move to Boulder Ridge was like, no. So we did stay at Poly the whole time.
Thanks.
But let me know in the comments, anyone viewing, are you guys a fan of split stays? Do you mind packing up and moving? Let me know. I'm curious to hear. Well, I was just talking for quite a while, so I'm going to pass the mic to Jerry and Jamie, and they're going to provide a little bit of an update on right of first refusal and what's going on with some old Key West contracts.
Yeah. So, Jamie, you want to clue everybody in, or you want me to do it?
Well, just chime in there. We'll do it together. So I think we're in an interesting time with Old Key West. So Disney has been more aggressive with buying back Old Key West. It hasn't been every property. I had one waived last week. So it hasn't been every one, but it's been a lot. And the expectation, I think, the reason they're buying, if people ask, is they can take the contract back and they can extend it to 2057, and then they can sell it for more money. So, that's the idea. There's not an opportunity to do that unless you're Disney, so to say. So, the interesting part of it is, at least for us, what's interesting about it is what the market's bearing in the price doesn't necessarily match what Disney's buying. Meaning, in order to get the property, to have the best opportunity to get the property to pass right of first refusal, you almost have to pay a price that's more than what the market's really bearing. So you kind of have to do one of two things. You have to buckle in, try to get the property. If you don't, up your offer, try again, and continue that until you obtain a property. Or you can pay $90+ a point, pay more than the seller's asking in most cases, and hope that that gives you the best opportunity. So it's interesting in the sense that buyers are wanting to buy the properties, but they're saying, if I give this seller what they're asking, most likely it's going to get bought back. So a week or so ago, I had someone pay more, which I can honestly tell you it's been a very long time since that happened.
Yeah, so Disney's price on Old Key West is $205 a point. Average resale price for Old Key West around $80 a point. They fluctuate somewhere between 75, sometimes a little less than that, all the way up to 85, sometimes a little more than that. But figure around the average about $80 a point. What we've seen is Disney's buying them back at that price. So Jamie's saying if you pay more, pay 90 a point, chances are Disney's not going to buy it back. They are allowing packages to go through, and it seems to be the price point at about 87, 88, 90, whatever, somewhere in that higher upper 80s or 90 a point is not triggering Disney. So if you really want an Old Key West, that's where you need to be. It's possible that Disney might waive on something that's priced less than that, but just if reading the tea leaves, it just seems consistently that's a resort they're picking off because they are trying to extend it to a 2057. They're buying it because it's a 2042, extend it to 2057 and sell it for $205 a point. So, that's a little bit more context, I think, to what Jamie's saying.
I think that the part that's, again, might only be interesting to us because we do this for a living is that typically you're not going to have, when a buyer goes to buy a property, if they've had one bought back, they're not looking at the prices going, oh, well, this is too low. So what the market is bearing as far as what sellers are listing them at, but what Disney's buying them back, that's where the discrepancy is at. So like recently someone asked, what do? I said, well, you have two options. You pay $1 or $2 more per point than you paid the last go round, and you do this until you get the property, or you just go in with an offer of say 90, like Jerry said, 88, 89, $90 a point. And so you have to make the decision. Are you willing to pay more to try and get the property now, or are you willing to keep trying until you find the sweet spot where they don't step in, essentially? And I don't know the last time that we had that. I feel like it's been many years since we've been in that situation.
Yeah. And in terms of right of first refusal, Old Key West is not the only property Disney's buying. It seems to be the most consistent, but we have had some Grand Floridians and we have had Polynesians. It seems like the prices have pretty much stabilized for Grand Floridian and Poly. So, people are paying more than what Disney's willing to buy them back at. And the average resale price at Grand Floridian right now is Jamie, was it 160-ish, 165, somewhere in that neighborhood?
Yeah, in that range, maybe up to high 160s. Low, I would say median is mid 160s.
Yeah, and that tends to be passing. Poly's same thing, 160, 170 should pass right of first refusal. Anything under, I'd say 160's not going to make it. But anyway, so right of first refusal is pretty much non-existent for other resorts. So if you're considering purchasing and you really want a good deal, I mean, truthfully, prices are like where they were in 2007. I was looking at our database, looking at like pricing, just kind of seeing where things are. This is one of the best times to buy a Disney Vacation Club compared to the past 17 years. Like it's amazing how the prices are just, it's a buyer's market. And I know the economy's tight and, things are difficult for a lot of people, but it is an opportunity for buyers right now. If you are in the market. So just something to think about. And there's no pressure. If you call us and you have questions about like buying a property and right of first refusal and, how does this work? Like our goal is to just help you. And find the right package that matches what your needs are. We're not trying to sell you something. We're trying to help you. So if you do have questions about it, just let us know. Well, any agent, we have 6 wonderful agents. They're all great. Can help you with any of those questions.
And I think, to go back to what Jerry said, like, after doing this for, me 21 years, Jerry even longer, people always say, oh, you must buy when the market's low and sell when the market's high. And I say, after doing this so long, we don't even know the trends. We don't always, you can recognize them, but sometimes they happen very quickly. But this is definitely a recognizable trend. So it's twofold. If you have, like Jerry said, it's a buyer's market. You can have buyers making offers all day long. If the majority of sellers are saying, no, thank you, I own it free and clear, I don't have to get out of it, then the offers aren't going to go anywhere. But they're going back to what Jerry said again, with the economy and things like that, there are people right now that, sellers that are, for whatever reason, they've had the property for 20 years, they paid less for it, they need the money, the cash out. So it's a perfect storm in the sense that you can make great offers, low offers all day long, but if 90% of the sellers aren't taking them, it's not going to go anywhere. But there is a percentage of sellers right now that are open to that. And outside of OQS, Polynesian, Grand Floridian, like you said, right of first refusal with most other resorts is really non-existent right now. So if you're looking for, when people love to buy low and sell high and the bottom of the market, I think this is it. So,
Yeah. You can't, it's impossible to time a market, but I mean, for the past 18 months, we've been watching what's happening, and it's a great opportunity for buyers. I mean, it really is. So,
right.
Especially with some of these new things that are coming, like all these new attractions that are coming, all the new announcements Disney's made, the refurbs that they've done to the resorts, like you're buying it at like a super sale. So anyway, if you're interested and just have questions, let us help you. Let us just at least, help you decide if this is for you or not, or at least you have a professional that's 20 plus years experience. Jamie, 21, we have multiple agents over 20 years. I'm 24 years and whatever. We all have a lot of experience with this. So certainly happy to help you out.
And I think you touched on the poly pricing, Jerry, but can you say it again? Because the question popped after you said it.
Yeah. So poly, I would say, probably a safe price around I'd say 170. I mean, maybe in the 160s per point, but 165 to 170 is probably going to pass. Again, it's a little gray. The new tower's coming. They were pretty heavy on buying them back, but they were priced in the 140s, 150s, and Disney was just grabbing them because they were so cheap. So now it seems like it's leveled off at 165. They're not stepping in. And Disney's price on poly is $250 a point. So you're saving almost $100 a point on buying it secondary. So, I'd say 165.
We also went through a slowdown, like a shortage of inventory. So when those buybacks happened, we also had less, because I think the announcement kept some members saying, you know what, maybe I'm going to hold it just a little bit longer and use it. So that tends to happen when they add on to a resort or they do a refurb. All of a sudden people say, nope, I'm going to hold on to it for a little bit. I feel like we're seeing that with Boulder Ridge. I'm not seeing as many listings for Boulder Ridge recently. So I feel like it's going to be
exciting time,
but right.
Yeah,
so Polynesian's a little harder to get your hands on.
Yeah, exactly. It's an exciting time to be a Polynesian owner because that new tower's coming, new restaurants, new shopping, new dining, new pools, new entertainment, whatever. And then Boulder Ridge, Reflections hasn't been announced yet, but it's the permits are being filed like bananas right now. So it seems like that is going to happen. And there's, and they may add on to the Wilderness Lodge. They may just create a new resort, Reflections, on its own, terms. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, inventory is a little short on poly because people want to see it. They want to keep it. They want to stay there.
So if you're a Polynesian seller,
it could be a good time to sell. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes. So another quick poly question as we are wrapping up a little bit, but we do have some questions I want you guys to answer. Donna's curious, any updates on the poly as to when we can start using points for rooms? Of course, this is the hot question.
Yeah, so point charts aren't out yet. I look almost every day to see when or if they're going to release those point charts. They're not out. I even, as we're on this podcast this evening, I logged in to my account just to see if they have, again, point charts that posted while we were doing this. Still nothing. So my guess is October. They might release the point charts maybe next month, but I'm guessing, and this is totally a guess, is early October. We'll probably see pre-sales for members. The reason why is the fiscal year for Disney begins in October. That would really give them a huge boost to start their year. The property opens in December, so 2 months prior to opening makes a lot of sense for that pre-sale to start. So I think those point charts are coming soon, probably within the next 30 days, if not at worst, October, but early October.
Amy left us a comment saying she's had a great experience buying and renting with the DVC store. She bought a Saratoga Springs 50-point contract, and everything was quick and smooth. It was a fabulous process, it sounds like. She also rented her 2023 points very easy.
Oh,
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it.
Amy, we would love if you left us a Google review, or if anybody here has also worked with the team, leave a Google review and you could share our experience and include photos, because we'd love to give you a shout out on our social media. We'd love to see how you're using your membership, if you are doing resort only stays, or if you do hit up the parks. I'll leave a link in the chat below so that you can visit our Google profile and leave us a review. So thank you, Amy, for sharing that. She said definitely.
Oh, thank you, Amy.
All right. Any other last minute questions for our team? Any thoughts on our broadcast? Any and all are welcome. Jamie, Cherry, any parting thoughts?
I am grateful for everybody who's here, and thank you for watching. And if you ever have any ideas for additional content that you'd like to see or hear about, we are always listening, always wanting to give you what you want. So let us know. It's a pleasure doing these shows, and I hope that you enjoy them. So if you have any questions, just reach out in the comments or reach out to us over the phone or email or whatever we can do to help.
Absolutely. And again, we couldn't do this without the viewership. So I obviously, Jerry, Lauren and I are doing this in our spare time, our off time, and so we love what we do. And again, if there's a topic you want to hear about, we're passionate about certain things, but we're also passionate about educating people. So if you have a topic, we'd like to hear about it. And also just keep in mind, it's the rental we mentioned with Amy's comment. Rental is a huge part of our business. So if you're a member that has points to rent, please contact us. Rentals are booming right now. So if you have points to rent, if you're a member and you don't have enough points, we're one of the few companies that offer member to member transfers. And the confirmed or pre-booked reservations seem to be a big hit as well. We've got some really good holiday. So let's say you're out of points. Let's say you're not a member. We've got something for everyone. So just remember, that's a huge part of our business, both if you are already a member or if you're not. It's a good way to try it before you buy it too. So if you're watching this and it all seems like a lot to take in, renting points 1 or 2 times before you buy, most people aren't going to say it's not for them, but if you took one vacation, you didn't buy a property, if it's not for you, then you got the vacation, you don't have the points. So there's a lot of ways to look at it.
I wanted to bring this comment up from Joe. Nice to see you guys. I bought my Hilton Head contract from DVC store years ago. We love it. Yay!
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
That's
and to add something Jamie mentioned, if you are interested in rentals, we do offer some of the least expensive rentals out there. So, if you've considered it, just give us an opportunity to quote you and see how it matches up. But we'll save you a huge amount compared to either renting from Disney and even some of our competitors. I hate that we blow them out of the water in terms of pricing. So just let us know. We can check it for you and you can decide.
And Joe, to answer your question, so if you are a member and you're familiar with the cap on Disney's transfer points per year, this is a two-parted question. The easy answer is there is not a cap on how many points you can take. However, you can only do one transfer in or out of an account per use year. So if you need 300 points, you can't take 150 from one member and 150 from another member. You have to take all the points you need in one movement. So there is not a cap. You can rent if you wanted 1,000 points, and we could find you one member with 1,000 points, but you cannot piece and part. So if you need whatever you need, there's not a cap, but we have to find you one member to make one movement of points, and then you're done for that year.
For that annual allocation, yes. Yeah.
Right.
And again, these are like specific questions. If you are interested in a transfer, we can certainly like look at the situation and get you the right amount of points and help you determine like, okay, yes, this allocation for this, this use year, this allocation, whatever. So again, it's kind of a...
We'll do the heavy lifting. We'll do the heavy lifting, Joe. Just reach out. But the easy answer is no. There's no limit. Like, I have done the member-to-member transfer, meaning I have transferred to another member as a member. I have taken points from another member as a member. And I have done the Disney purchase one-time points. I will say the Disney one was my least favorite one to do. And the only reason I did it was because I needed a very small number of points to complete 2 separate reservations at Alani at the 7-month window. And so I only needed like 10 points. So I just paid, gave my credit card, they deposited the points, we booked the reservation. That's the only time I think the Disney one makes sense. Otherwise, having the ability to get more points for more money or for less money, the member-to-member transfer through us is going to be, I've experienced all of them, and that was the easiest one.
Yeah. And what's nice about the member-to-member transfer is the points are bankable. So if you do have additional points left over, you can bank them. You can save them for the next year and use them the following year. They will expire. There is an expiration. However, they are bankable. So they, it's a one annual allocation that is usable for that year or bankable to the next, but the following, they do expire. But again, nitty gritty, we can help you with all that stuff if that's what you need.
Absolutely.
And what Jerry and Jamie have been saying, it is a total concierge almost service for what they and the team will do for you. Like Jamie said, they will do the heavy lifting. All you need to do is reach out and they will provide you with all the options available based on what you're looking for. So don't fret. The team is here to take care of you. And I did want to bring up one other quick comment. My dad says, why is everyone not a DVC member? I like that. So with that on the screen, I suppose we can wrap up. It is his birthday eve.
Oh, nice.
Birthday eve shout out. He is a Leo, and in true Leo fashion, he wanted a birthday attention shout out. So
nice.
Thanks for engaging with us.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
friends.
It's nice. Happy birthday,
Thank you for being
Eve.
here on your birthday Eve.
Is that August 22nd? Thursday is your birthday?
It's unbirthday in Alice in Wonderland fashion. So
nice.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate you. Like Jamie said, we could not do this without everyone who's viewing. Please drop some comments with content you want to see in the future, even if it's outside of a live broadcast. If you want to see us do some other interesting reviews or talks on Walt Disney World and beyond, leave a comment, let us know. And as always, if you have any questions for the team, dvcstore.com. And I'll also drop the phone number if you want to call them tomorrow and just say good morning. Thanks for the broadcast. So thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Always
have a great night.
See
and
ya.
if you're watching the replay, let us know. All right. Good night.
Good night.